Dave Dameshek from the NFL Network. Love me some Dave Dameshek. Good to see you, Shek.
Ace, what a pleasure to see you. I've been listening since you kicked things off at 6 a.m. local time. Gangbuster stuff with you and the fellas.
Yeah, it's quite a sort of magical
What about Fritzy,
melding
though?
going
What
on
can you
here.
tell me about Fritzy? I'm a little unclear on.
Well,
on what he's
McLovin's one of the, you know, in terms of just initial chemistry, never had anything better, male or female, by the way, as far as McLovin goes. Seton, obviously, same thing I got over there. Paulie, it's just, he's Johnny on the spot. And, you know, Fritzy's Fritzy, you know. He does what Fritzy does, you know. He's Fritzy.
I thought it was interesting.
And he's always going to be Fritzy. That's just who he is, you know.
I think the key detail of the Fritzy's Fritzy is don't sleep on the inflection of the voice. That's
Right.
Fritzy's Fritzy. Yeah. Paulie, it's interesting. He and I have kibitzed on social media over the past year or so. And I just had an awkward meeting, the most awkward of all places to meet anybody, in the toilet. I saw his back. He turned around to me, and I introduced myself to him and immediately regretted doing so. That's not the right place.
What's policy there? We both recognize each other. Should I go head down, make sure to wash the hands so it doesn't get out that I didn't?
Yeah.
Or do I say, hey, how you doing, elbows?
Fortunately, you didn't wash your hands, so that wasn't an issue.
Thank you.
There's a couple things. By the way, you missed this little pearl. I was in the bathroom earlier this morning, saw a gent walk past me barefoot.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He was barefoot, and then he walked past me, and I'm like, you're barefoot in the bathroom? And then turned out he was taking a shower. And I realized, I don't know, some sort of sanctuary studio we're in here, or what's going on? Who's showering at 5:20 in the morning?
There is a shower at the NFL as well, and I'm fascinated by it. And I ask every day to the people that work near there, does anyone, I mean, how soiled would one have to be to go and take a spritz in the middle of the day?
Well, you know what it's like. You're sitting in air conditioning in an ergonomically designed chair and eating free food at a cafeteria, and then at some point you got to hose off.
I'm all for
you ate
equality.
too much ambrosia salad, and you got to take a shower.
You know, one thing I have noticed in the 21st century, I'm all for equality in the workplace and everything else. But one thing that continues, or in fact that has emerged in the last few years, is it seems like there's a different standard for women and men in this way. Women at work, in their cubicles, wear blankets. Have you ever seen that move?
Yeah.
What if I was like, I'm chilly, I'm going to like get a throw? It's very weird that women just sit around in the cubicle with a blanket draped over themselves.
They quilt up like turn-of-the-century cripples and wheelchairs. Dude, by the way,
FDR,
I'm doing the math. Like, you have no feeling in your legs, old man. Why do you have the quilt over them? I could put a cigarette out on your kneecap. You wouldn't blink. Why the quilt? But yeah, you're right.
We're veering into politically incorrect.
No, you're right. But women are always. I've gotten to this one with my wife. This is how you know. Like. Women are always cold because they know it's always that argument. Turn the ceiling fan on. I do this thing. I get hooked on the ceiling fan like it's crack or methadone, you know. And I hit the ceiling fan all summer long, and then it starts to change, and it starts to get cooler at night. And before you know it, we're starting to head toward Thanksgiving. But I'm hooked on the siren song of the ceiling fan. It said all night. And at a certain point, my wife, because it's 45 degrees outside at this point, goes, enough with the ceiling fan. And I go, just double up on the comforter and put the blankets over you. Who cares? And she'll go, my forehead's cold. And I'll go, you could take a letter opener and stab it into my forehead. I don't think I would feel it.
I've never heard the forehead temperature.
Maybe she's just being passive-aggressive.
Yeah, I think so. I heard you just talking to Eisen about the visits from the Turk, and I do find it fascinating, the range in which teams choose to cut players. I think that, I would say what you want about Jerry Jones. He actually does the cutting himself. I think there's a nobility in that he's owning it. And then a lot of other teams have their head coaches do it. I loved the Hard Knocks when the Cincinnati Bengals did it. They had a guy who actually that was his gig, was to go and knock on your door, but not just knock on your door at the end of practice or anything.
Right.
He would wake you up under the cloak of night. He would wake you up like, what's go? Hey, need your playbook. Go visit the. Look, I can't. You're gonna humiliate me. You can't even let me get a decent night's sleep before you do.
Literally, like, no. It's important that we fire you while you have a boner. You must still have a boner. You must come in here with sweatpants and boner, and we will fire you. Like. Can't you let me take a shower with the guy in the hall here and like put some sweatpants on and then fire me? By the way, with this weird math, if you're talking to me, like when the Turk comes by at like 5:15, tells me to get up, walk into the man's office with my boner, get fired, I could go back to my room and fall asleep and then just wake up the next day and show up to practice. Like, hey, I had a dream I got fired last night.
Just keep doing it. Yeah, you keep showing up. That's the George Costanza move, right? The thing about, bring your playbook. Bring your playbook to like, what if you don't bring the playbook and then you just, hey,
right.
You got that playbook yet?
Yeah, no, I would never have the playbook nearby.
The Brickashaw, you still like, the playbook. I left that in my car. Tomorrow I'll get that. Next thing you know, it's mid-October.
Dave Damashek, NFL Network analyst here, and excited because Sheck's a dear friend, an old friend. I've known Sheck for many years.
Ace, it's a pleasure to see you, and even more so now that your heart is now full, I assume, now that your football team is back in Los Angeles.
Yes.
You have the Rams. It's exciting, except for I can't shake the uncomfortable feeling that after 20 years that it's all who's going to come and everything. And Case Keenum. That's what we're going to get in week 1, it would appear now. Case Keenum. How in a world, I lament this often. How is it possible in a world of 7 billion people that we cannot find 32 human beings to successfully play quarterback in the NFL?
It is
very weird.
Yeah, well, it's a tall order. Speaking of tall, McLovin is dear friends with Case, right?
Oh.
I don't know, dear friend.
That's what you said during the commercial.
Case is a good dude. Yeah, Paulie and I went down to Irvine, and not only is Case a friend of the show, Sean Mannion is a super fan of the Dan Patrick Show, was wearing a Dan Patrick Show T-shirt on Hard Knocks that said Flinch Ball, which is something we invented. And Jared Goff, #1 overall pick, also a DP Show fan. So we're in with the Rams.
That's how we pick who we root for in the league, to start, not start whether they watch our show, not about their abilities or if they're a good quarterback.
I just met Jared Goff. I went to the Coliseum the other day and kibitzed with him, and boy, he's a handsome devil.
Yeah, we were trying to find Ryan Gosling, Brady handsome, Sanchez handsome.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's Goff immediately in the top 5, I think, most handsome NFL QBs.
Really?
I think Brady's still #1, but Garoppolo.
Oh, yeah, he's easy on the eyes.
Cam Newton.
I mean, listen, I'm just by, but Garoppolo, yeah. Yeah,
well,
that guy's hot.
Garoppolo, and in fact, I've asked both those guys, Brady and Garoppolo, who's more handsome between the two of them, and they both were pretty modest about it. So I went to Gronk, and Gronk said Brady, and I said, and I'm with him. I think Brady is still the gold standard.
Well, you take a look. You know, one's dating Gisele Bundchen, and the other one's dating a hostess from Hooters. I think that's really the deciding. Forget about Gronk. You know what I mean? That's how that's the coin you have to flip to decide. You know, who you're dating. She started the Olympics. Like Rio, I don't know. They just marched her out into the middle of the Coliseum just to light a torch or something. A model. Someone who has nothing to do with sports except for having sex with everyone in sports, which I guess makes her an aficionado in a weird way. Like maybe she's more into sports or sports are more into her than anybody else. But she's a supermodel. What's she have to do with the Olympics?
You've been tuning in on these Olympics?
You guys tell me where you stand on this. I tuned in the other night and somebody asked me on my show, which sports would you cut from the Olympics? And I said, that's true. We're getting a little fat. We're getting into pellet guns and things like that. Like we could trim it down a little bit. I said, any sport where they do the split screen, where they're like, over here, let's see how international women's basketball is doing over here. And here's junior soccer over here. And they're splitting the screen. If you have to split the screen down the middle, meaning there's not enough sport to take up a whole TV set here, that means you're on the block. Call the Turk is what I say. If we're splitting the screen, you got to call the Turk.
I mean, we could definitely get rid of some dead weight with that. Isn't it weird that we live on, you feel like, with 800 channels and whatever, shouldn't we be aware of all the sports out there? And yet every 4 years, this exotic, the one that I would most like to play is team handball.
Yeah.
I don't know the rules exactly what's going on there because they're running and then they just periodically drop it for a second and then get it back up and then they throw. I really want to play. I think that would be a good one to play drunk or otherwise. And the one that fascinates me the most in both Olympics is the ski jump, because basketball, as a for instance, you can go out and take 3,000 shots and airball them all before you make one. That's how you can ramp up to it.
Right.
What's the equivalent of that in ski jump? How do you not break yourself the first 50 times?
Or like the pole vault. How do you do that for the first time, where I'm going to use this stick to fling me 20 feet over?
Well, I mean, at least you probably start by putting the thing about the height of a bedpost or something and see if you can make it over that. But I mean, the ski, yeah, it's true. And they didn't have foam pits back in the day to practice on. I like the four-man toboggan. I like the four-man sled. My feeling is I want either second or third seat in the four-manner, because the deal is the first guy's got to do the steering. And the announcers are all up his tookus, like, oh, he clipped the wall. That's going to shave precious tenths, Oh, the Germans are smiling now just because he's going down and basically a frozen baguette at 70 miles an hour. And God forbid he gets a little wide on one of the turns that kicks you up higher than Talladega as far as the bank. Oh, he caught an edge there. That's going to slow him down.
That signature steering there from Pierre Delacroix.
Then the guy in the back, he's got a brake, so he's got something to do. The two middle guys, as far as I can tell, they gotta run as hard as they can for about 7 steps, and then they jump into this fiberglass coffin and attempt to perform oral on themselves, because that's all you do. It's just run, suck, and then it's over. It's over. And you didn't do. Oh, you were like, huh? We're done.
Why do they? I mean, it is a fascinating thing. If you have the two-man bobsled,
yes,
what is the need to then that he's in the two-man, but he's not on the four-man bobsled.
Yeah,
the unnecessary.
Well, I never thought about this.
Where's the dignity? Where's the dignity in being the 2 and 3 guy?
Well, then also, how about the guy who specializes in the 3-man bobsled who's pissed because it's like, well, we got the single guy, right? And then there's the 2, right? Now that's where I come in. No, we go to 4.
History has passed me by.
What about the tri-sled? What about that? No. We hop to 4.
We literally don't need you 2 and 3 guys.
Yes.
I'm still going to the Olympics. You're not taking this dream away from me. And the other one that they use the icy course thing for is the luge. And I have long speculated that I could make the U.S. luge team, because there cannot be more than 3 or 4 people in America who have ever luged, ever. I think just by proclaiming you're willing to do it, you can make the luge team. Yes. In America. Now, I'll do it.
Is that the skeleton?
That's the
What's
thing where you lay down.
Well, skeleton's face first.
That's face first.
That's serious.
I would argue there are many people of skeleton, but drunk and unintentionally. Like, you know what I mean? We're camping. It's cold outside. I'm going to take a leak. Oh, crap. You know what I'm saying? I think people do it unintentionally, but I don't think they actually do it intentionally and practice it. All right. How are we doing on time? 2 minutes. All right, we got more time with that.
What are you worried? We're not going to be able to fill, Ace?
I run a tight ship here,
I like that I was listening earlier, and some of your questions. So Jimmy Kimmel's the funniest guy you know.
He works. It is in his blood, is what I say. You know him well off stage as well as I do. He doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like, I'm guessing Sacha Baron Cohen isn't farting on people's heads when they pass out on the sofa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's probably serious.
And that's the difference between Sacha Baron Cohen and Jimmy Kimmel. He
Right.
is farting on your head.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying a Jimmy, there's no,
Yeah.
you know, you wouldn't get the feeling like a guy like Bob Hope or Letterman or guys like that were super, you know, nonstop joke machines
Sure.
off the air. Jimmy is Jimmy's.
I agree
I don't
with
mean
that.
Jimmy's Jimmy. Hold on.
You know, Corolla is also, you know, I think everybody can confirm Will is pretty much the same guy on the air as he is off. But Corolla also, you may not know, puts everybody who he meets through a probationary period. I experienced this a number of years ago where literally we sat. I was one of 4 people watching NFL football for a Sunday, and he literally over 7 hours did not even look in my direction. Imagine being in a room, a small room, and being one of 4 people, and he acknowledges everyone, the other 2 guys, but does not even address anything in your direction. Why did you do that again, Ace?
I have to vet. Understand, if you ever get to my position, David, you hold on a second.
You should laugh.
I just heard how that sounded.
Ridiculous.
I didn't say it. Yeah. But if you do get here to the big desk instead of the kiddie table over there, you'll realize that a man of my importance cannot take time to have a lot of Johnny-come-latelys
take on
pass through their
everybody, right.
life. You have to be fully vetted. Good news is you pass the test. Bad news is it's been 7 years and it's time to re-up.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.